as I was starting to say, back to, a lot of investors don't understand why they need a housing inspector. This guy has saved me more trouble and more money because this is his job. He goes in and he sees things I would never have seen. That's his business of doing that. And before I buy a house, I want him to look at it. No matter how good I think I have looked at it preliminarily, I want him to be the last word. So without further ado, I want to invite up Bill Warner, talking about what do you need to do when you're going to be buying a house.
Wow.
Thank you, Marcia. I've done these presentations a few times in the past, and I'm going to do this up a little bit differently. I'm going to approach this presentation. Here recently, I've run into a rash of issues with rehab homes that have been completed and put on the market for sale to either other investors or somebody looking to buy a home to live in. So I put this front page together. Cosmetic fixes don't hide money pits for very long. Paint, carpet, cabinets, doors, etc. are all the necessary components that we know that we're going to be investing in putting into our rehab properties. But you put lipstick on a pig, you still have what?
A pig.
A pig.
You have lipstick. Lipstick.
Lipstick. An experienced inspector won't care about your cosmetic prowess, how good the paint looks, how good the cabinets look installed. I had a colleague put it really eloquently once. He says, I don't kill real estate deals, I just write the obituary based on the home's condition. And there's a lot of truth to that.
That's good, yes.
So a thorough inspection will evaluate over 4,000 plus items in the average home. You know, these are items, areas, components. You add them all together, 4,000 plus. Average home inspection prices for the industry are around the 350 to 400 range. I'm above the average on my fees. I do a little bit more. I bring more tools to the equation and things like that. But if you do the math, that's right around a penny or less an item. So I want to walk you guys through some recent inspections. This was a completed rehab, and I was performing this inspection for an out-of-state investor, somebody out of California looking to buy an investment property that was going to be managed locally. And we'll just walk through some of the highlights of what we found. I first start walking around the grounds. And this is a common issue. It's not just with investment properties. It's not just with rehabbers. It's with really just about any property. These are common deck stairs that are installed with the riser gaps are way too far apart. Ideally, the current standards are no bigger than a 4-inch sphere can pass through. That's about the size of my fist. So this is the safety hazard, and it's mostly for children that want to stick their bodies or their heads through and may get stuck. And it's also a tripping hazard. So that's something common that I write up. But looking a little closer at this elevated deck, we've got decay going on. And that's a severe safety issue. Just about every year we see in the news a deck collapse. It's either because the deck was never properly attached to the structure, or it's in a severe state of decay that nobody noticed. Now keep in mind this is a completed rehab as we go through. This particular property had vinyl siding on it, and part of my process is to tug at it and make sure it's all secured properly. It wasn't along the bottom edge in some areas. Looking up along the gable areas, we could see where it had received some wind damage, and somebody had gone up and face nailed it back, and there were still gaps. So this is still susceptible to water intrusion, still susceptible to further wind damage. and can be somewhat a significant repair